Yeah, let me just say welcome to BettySoo, live here at the Bertsch Barn. Really excited to have you here tonight. Thank you so much for making the trip to Rhinelander to share your music and some of the stories behind your music with us. And I'm not going to say anything else right now. I'm just going to let you go for it because I've been holding up the show here. So,
No worries.
BettySoo, live from the Bertsch Barn. Thanks so much. Let's give her a warm welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. That's right, man. Henry and me, we got a good thing together. Back in 98, we left for warmer weather. Just kids with fake IDs. Houston was big and we could disappear. Neighbors don't bug, don't even draw near. We can bust it out to Shreveport. Me with Jimmy and see what he sold. And if they're playing in town, we'll see a little band of gold. Try your luck at the slots, sleep all the way home. The station's just a 2-mile walk from my door. We never leave a car at the Greyhound lot. Henry says you might as well leave it unlocked. But Henry's always got us a new set of wheels. He loves to strike his own kind of deals. And this one's hot out of Phoenix. Rolling slow, make a show. It's a 65 Ford Valley tag on the floor. We're gonna go downtown, cruise it around, drive it to the coast, leave it for the beach folks. Trade it for a wagon with a picnic in the back and see what kind of toys kids take these days. Then we'll throw them out the window on the Gulf Coast Highway. So much trash out there, no one can tell anyway. Sunday night, I always call home. It's always Mom who picks up the phone. Tell her I'm good and I'll visit soon. Same thing I've said for years. She'll try to muffle those snot-nosed tears. She knows I can't stand to hear. Well, Henry's never been much of a flirt, so I never worried about him chasing skirt. Him and me is all we need. Henry's new best friend is just an ex-sucker looking for a fix for a Holden brother. Me and Henry were just like Bonnie and Clyde. Mad for dead presidents taking on the slide. Only things we ain't got banks in our sights. Just cars and fiends and hungry eyes. Just cars and fiends and hungry eyes. Yeah, Henry and me, we got a good thing together. Back in 98, we left for warmer weather. Just kids with fake IDs. Him and me, that's all we need. Thank you. Hey, Scott, could I ask for a favor? I think once the people got in here, I realized the monitor is a little bit low for me because I think I was hearing the mains before. Is it possible to turn my monitor up a bit? Yeah, just the overall. Thank you so much. Scott is the magic man. That should be a song. Oh, it is. I had a band for a couple of years, together with a couple of really good friends of mine, Rebecca Loby and Grace Pettis. And we had a band together called Nobody's Girl. And we didn't intend to be a band. We just thought we were going to go on this 1-2-week tour together, 3 weekends, 2 weeks. And then I had the idea of, hey, why don't we write a song together? And then we'll tell people, like, oh, the only place you're going to be able to hear all three of us sing this song together is on this tour. And they were both like, okay, yeah, let's do that. And so we, one of our friends, Grace, said, I've got these friends out in the hill country in Texas, and they've got this beautiful recording studio, and attached to it they have these apartments so that, like, if artists are traveling from across the country to record there, they can stay there. And I'll ask them if we could do a little writer's retreat there one night. And we were like, awesome. So we went out there, and the next thing we knew, so we got there, we thought we were going to write one song. We ended up writing 3 songs that night. And in the morning, we came down and to thank the studio staff for all their hospitality and stuff. And they were like, actually, the owners came by this morning. Would you like to meet them? And we said, yeah, we'd love to thank them, for letting us use the space. So we met them, and we said, thank you so much. Would you like to hear the songs that we wrote last night? And they said, yeah. So we wrote these songs, or we played the songs for them, and then they said, we're actually starting a record label. Would you guys like to make a record with us? We were like, let's think about that. And then we were like, yes, I guess we're a band now. And so now it's completely my fault that we ended up being in a band together. But no, we still love each other. We still text pretty much every day. But our album was supposed to come out in 2020. And then it was supposed to come out in 2021. And the tour, a very extensive tour, got rescheduled, and then finally it was canceled. And but the great news is that all of us have hundreds of CDs in our closets. So, and no tour to sell them at. So, if I ever miss them, I have many hundreds of copies of their faces staring at me from little boxes. But this is one of the songs that we wrote together after we started touring together. Saw your face in the stars last night, shining down from a clear black sky. Colorado turned out the lights. 1,000 miles from California sand, 1,000 more to the Blue Ridge Mountains, all in the cradle of your weary hands. Staring at the great divide, staring at the great divide, staring at the great divide, looking to the left, looking to the right. Cardboard city full of government tents, kids trying to sleep over subway vents, keeping watch over cold cement. No vote in North Dakota with a native ID. Churches shot, Philly, Jersey, Kansas, Tennessee. We're all waking up from the same lost stream. Staring at the great divide, staring at the great divide, staring at the great divide, looking to the left, looking to the right. Is there a sign on your neighbor's lawn that makes you wonder how we went so wrong? Show me a side we can all get on. I saw a man quilt an 8-foot flag with just his hands and a pile of rags. Sometimes all we need is Well, I only see what I can see, feeling small and not that free. Then from where I stand, it doesn't look like the promised land. Staring at the great divide, staring at the great divide, staring at the great divide. And from where I stand, this could still be the promised land. Thank you. Like 2 hours ago, I swallowed wrong, or like, you know, you breathe in a spit bubble, and I haven't been able to shake it. Nobody told me that as you get older, weird things like that start happening. Like, that happens to me all the time now, breathing the spit bubble. Nobody ever warned me that was going to be a thing. But once I noticed it and mentioned it, people were like, oh yeah, that happens to you all the time now. Get used to it. That's the rest of your life. I was like, what? Like, yeah, that's normal. Johnny's broker than hard up. Church mouse is better fed. Less than nothing's what he's got. Everything is in the red. On the corner with a box of tools, jobs won't come his way. No one picks him up but the bad luck blues. He'll be standing there all day. He's got one thing. He's got love. Got one thing. It's one thing enough. Sylvie's wearing her apron, forgot to hang it before she left. Wore it all the way home on the #1 bus, tied around a thin black dress. On the couch with the lights low, smoked enough to feel alright. Knock on the door means Johnny's come, so passed her daddy into the night. Well, she's got one thing. She's got love. She's got one thing. It's one thing. Sylvie and Johnny since high school. Crazy how 8 years fly. Friends say they look just the same, but you change when life passes you by. Can't get their own place, can't buy gold rings. Haven't got a clue what getting ahead in life's supposed to bring. But they got one thing. They got love. They got one thing. It's one thing enough. Yeah, they got one thing. There's one thing enough. Is one thing enough? If it's love. Thank you. Well, I grew up near the Gulf Coast, outside of Houston, a town called Spring, and it's a lot different than how it was. And even just as I was growing up, we saw it change a whole lot. It was kind of during its big growth phase. And so when I was little, it was kind of, I'd say 2/3 farms and about 1/3 neighborhoods and development. And by the time I graduated high school, you really didn't see any farms unless you drove out quite a bit. All the farms had sold off and become subdivisions, and all the big stands of pine trees, you could, when I was little, it was still very clearly part of the piney woods, and it was no longer that because it was all, strip malls and stuff by then. But it had but much like Houston, which had annexed it by the time I graduated high school, there was no zoning, so you had really special arrangements. Like one of my best friends, the front of her neighborhood, sometimes the front 2 lots, they don't sell them, and they put the little signs with the name of the neighborhood or whatever. They sold one of those lots to a strip club. So it was really classy. My friend lived like 3 houses into the neighborhood, and every morning his mom would run out and pick all the beer bottles off the lawn. And I remember talking about it at school one day. And asking, why does that have to happen? And my economics, government economics teacher said, well, that's the thing with towns, is that you have to either grow or die. And depending on how you plan that growth, it can be really lovely or not. And that stuck with me. And realized that sometimes it's grow and die. And that's where this song comes from. It's a long way from here, where the flowers of childhood grow. In your dreams, it's so clear. Open your eyes and it goes. Hometown calling, it's hometown sun. Hometown the shortest chapter of your story, still it holds something in its name. Hear it on the street, read it in the paper, it'll reveal its claim. Hometown calling, it's hometown sun. Hometown pining, who knew you'd come undone? No charms hold it higher than any other place. Hear it, false memories pull at your desire, spinning yarns of younger days. Hometown calling, it's hometown sun. Hometown dying, you knew it'd come undone. Your hometown dying, you knew it'd come undone.
Well, during the pandemic, I did this live stream every week on Zoom. I tried doing the thing on Facebook or, some of the other live stream things, but I found out that I really missed seeing people's faces. And so even if people's faces were only that big, it was better than not seeing any faces. So I did it on Zoom every week, and I did this series called Nobody's Happy Hour. And I had a guest each week, and we would spin this. I got this like prize wheel thing that I'd spin, and I had written all these things on all the pie wedges, and there were things like guilty pleasure cover. So there were a lot of for me there were a lot of 90s country songs and Wilson Phillips and other very guilty pleasures sung, and unveil a new song, different things like that. So my guest and I would have to, every other round, we'd have to spin the wheel and do whatever it said, or write a song on the spot and stuff. It was really fun, and it was great because I felt like it was a show that you weren't gonna ever have the same show twice, And but one of my favorite things that we did on the show was called Audience Request Cover That We Don't Know. And so I would have the audience, all typing in. One thing I really, really, really miss from live stream days is all of the interaction with people. Because when you're sitting at a show, you're quiet and you're not talking with each other and connecting in that way. And the great thing about the live stream was that you could be quiet and not interrupt the show, but still be chatting with each other and with the artist in real time. And I loved it as a fan too, to be able to go, God, I love that line, and then have the other fans go, me too, my favorite line of the song, and that kind of thing. And you can't do that in a regular show. So I've been trying to figure out how would we do that? What if we had live streams and I had a projector screen behind me and everybody could see all the comments coming in or something, and everybody in the audience could be putting their comments on the screen. I don't know. I've been thinking about it, how could we do that to recreate that feeling? But I haven't come up with a way to do it that doesn't require carrying a whole lot more gear. But so if you have any brilliant ideas, let me know. But I I thought it would be fun to try to do an audience request cover that I don't know tonight. So if you guys want to, I'm not telling you not to pay attention to this next song, but if you just want to like think about some songs, you know, over the next few songs, think about some songs that you think most of the people in the room would know, because that's one of the important aspects. It can't just be like some, you know, a very obscure song that only you know, because then nobody else will be in on the joke. The whole point is that I should be like, ideally, the only person who doesn't know the song, so that when I pull up the lyrics and sing it in some completely other way, everybody else is in on the joke, you know, for how different it is. So be thinking about that. Later in the show, we'll do it, all right? I will say there was a lot of Foreigner for some reason during the 2 years. I got to hear a lot of Foreigner songs. Because after the show, I'd go look it up, you know, and came to become familiar with a lot of like late 70s and early 80s rock that I didn't know. This is a song by my friend Chris O'Brien, who is a singer-songwriter from the Boston area, really wonderful. And we were hanging out at a festival, a bunch of our friends, years ago, and we would go there every year to the Kerrville Folk Festival out in the hill country of Texas. And there was one year that Chris really didn't run around with us the whole time. He was kind of had his nose stuck into this piece of paper, you know, into this legal pad, and was working on this thing. And he was in one of those moments in life where he had this thing to say and he really needed to finish it. And by the end of our time together there at the festival, he had finished this song. And now that he's no longer really performing very much, since, nobody tell my mom this, okay? Since Chris decided to go back to school and got a law degree from Harvard. And had a baby. So he's living the dream that my mom has for me. But anyway, since he's no longer performing as much, I felt like this was too good a song to stop being played.
My daddy's sickness in my veins. Alcohol is thinning out the blame. It's a long way down, and I'm all dressed up, gonna get all messed up and carry on your family name. My daddy's hospital on Visitor's Day, where Mama's crying, Grandma's praying, and for a little white bed, there's a price you pay, and a confused child is looking up at you to say, you fix them cars till they run good as new. You ain't never found the part that could fix you. I wanna know what the future holds for a boy like me who's got blood like yours. Well, my daddy left me when I was 10, almost 20 years till I see him again, and his liver is gone, and he is ghostly thin, and I am looking for any sign of me in him. You fix them cars till they up, gonna get all messed up and carry on your family name.
When Chris learned years ago that I started singing that song, he was like, "Oh, good, that's just what you need, another sad song." I do almost all sad songs. So. You know, I'm going to do a not sad song. I'm going to do another song that I wrote with my friends Grace and Rebecca. Has anybody here ever gone line dancing? 0 people. Like real line dancing. Like the country version of the electric slide. Well, I grew up line dancing. That was like totally a thing. My high school and, school dances and stuff, they were like half, modern rock and hip hop and half line dances. And like, yes, most country songs at the time had their own specific line dance, and you learned them all. But we also did like our PE, we had like square dancing every year since I was that big, which was not that long ago. No, just kidding. But we did so that was a big part of my growing up. And so when we wrote this song, when Nobody's Girl, we wrote this song, I was like, you guys, I really want us to have a specific line dance for this song. And they were like, okay. And I was like, okay, great. So I like hired a friend of mine who's an amazing dancer and choreographer, and she choreographed a line dance for it. And we had like all these visions for how we were gonna like record this big music video and like rent this dance hall in Texas and like get all of our friends to show up and do this big line dance video. And then, COVID happened, and then COVID kept happening and kept happening. So finally we just sent out the video, just like the instructional video of how to do this dance, to like a ton of our friends. And a few of them were brave enough to record themselves dancing it. And so we made this video that just has like all these people like in their houses or in front of their, in their backyard or on their street or whatever, doing this line dance. And we were like, oh, this is amazing. So we put out the video. And then like a year later, so many of those friends were like, that was the most stressful part of the pandemic for me, was learning your damn line dance. We're like, sorry. But it is really fun, so I recommend finding it. And maybe you could learn it. Maybe it won't be stressful, because you don't have to videotape yourself.
Not sending up flares, no SOS. Don't call it National Guard, it's just a little black trail. The trouble I find is the trouble I run to. I wanna be saved, don't wanna be rescued. Rescued. Oh, Mr. Wrong, you look so right. So baby, come on, I'm a good time tonight. They're playing my song, gonna rave on through. Don't wanna be saved, don't need to be rescued. 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 I'm doing fine, running every red. I'm right on time. I'll sleep when I'm dead. Yeah. Well, in 100 years, who's gonna know if I burned you
Thank you. We wrote songs that were like the earlier one, Promised Land, when we would get together and drinking tea, and then we would write songs like that when we'd get together and drink wine. So you can hear it in the record for sure. Okay, has anybody been thinking about a song? Come on, come on. Anything, something that just some popular song from any era that you think most people in the room would know. See, I know that one. It has to be one I don't know. But you know what? I didn't know Freebird, so it could be anything. Do most people know this song? No. Okay, what's another one? See, but I don't know, because last night somebody said Rat, Round and Round, and the entire room was like, yeah, and I was like, I've never heard of this. So you never know. So I always ask, does everybody know this, or multiple people know this? Okay, any other songs? I know Love Shack. No, hopefully a song that most people know except me. I'm the only one who needs to not know it. I do know that one. I don't know if I know that one. Does everybody else know that? Oh, the Meet Me Tonight in Atlantic City. That one? Yep, I know that one. Okay. Okay, I'll let you think about it for a few more songs. We'll come back. We'll come back. My phone needed to tell me that today is trash day.
Don't look me in the eye when you say your sweet lies. Don't place your hand in mine when tomorrow you're fine. It's all come down to boxes, books, guilt-laced looks. It's your truck full in the drive. It's all come down to names and faces, places we've never been. It's come down to goodbye. No use trying to explain. The sky is never the same. And nothing gold ever stays. Summer succumbs to autumn's flame. And it's all come down to boxes and books and guilty, sorry looks. It's your truck full in the drive. And it's all come down to names and faces and places we've never been. It's come down to goodbye. debts you can't ever pay off. It's come down. It's come down to goodbye. Hey baby, it's come down to goodbye.
Thank you. I'm going to do a song that I'm going to do a song that I forgot existed. Had it not been for Curtis McMurtry, I might not have ever remembered it, or might have been years more till I remembered that this song existed. But Curtis really kicked my butt to put out a record of demos that I had, and helped me sequence the songs. He wrote the liner notes for the album. And when he was helping me pick the songs that would be on the album, he actually reminded me of a couple of songs that I'd forgotten about, and this was one of them. So I owe a huge debt of gratitude to Curtis McMurtry, who I heard was the first guest here, which is amazing. And he is an incredible musician and wonderful songwriter. And I highly encourage you, and it is my only real good way of thanking him. I highly encourage you to go to Bandcamp and look up Curtis McMurtry and just buy everything. And Bandcamp lets you choose the price, so just pay too much, okay?
It's someone new, charming the smile out of you. Don't say it isn't true. And what do I do if the light's gone out for you? You found someone new. Well, don't say it's nothing. Don't say it's nothing, baby. Don't say it meant nothing. Well, just one night fades like faint starlight in a city sky. Wrong and right can vanish from sight in just one night. Well, don't say it's nothing. Don't say it's nothing, maybe. Don't say it meant nothing. disappearing. I woke up and the sky was clear. I woke up and you still weren't here. So don't say it's nothing. Don't say it's nothing, baby. Don't say it meant nothing. Don't say it's nothing. Don't say it's nothing, baby. Don't say it meant nothing.
Thank you. Anybody? You thought of anything? Come on. I definitely know Let's Dance. I do know Stairway to Heaven. I know Daydream Believer. I know I'm a believer. What was that? Who's that by? Does everybody know that? Okay, I do not know that. Yes. Let's see. Red Rubber Ball by the Circles. Is that what you said? Oh, Cyrkle, it says. Okay. Oh, Bruce Woolley and Paul Simon wrote this? Okay, well, I don't think I know it. Let's see. Where can I put this where I can see it? See that. Sorry to mess up your camera angles.
You need one of those little things to hold your phone?
I think I'll be okay, but I'm sorry that I'm messing up your camera things. I know that I'm messing it up. Okay. Let's see here.
I should have known you'd bid me farewell. There's a lesson to be learned from this, and I learned it very well. You know you're not the only starfish in the sea. And if I never hear your name again, well, it's all the same to me. And I think it's gonna be all You never care for secrets I confide. For you I'm just an ornament, something for your pride. Always running, never caring, that's the life you live. Stolen minutes of your time, that was all you had to give. And I think it's gonna be alright. Yeah, the worst is over now. And the morning sun is shining like a red rubber ball. Well, the story's in the past with nothing to recall. I got my life to live, I don't need you at all. The roller coaster ride we took is near the end. I bought my ticket with my tears, and that's all I'm gonna spend. And I think it's gonna be alright. Yeah, the worst is over now. And the morning sun is shining like a red rubber ball. Oh, I think it's gonna be alright. Yeah, the worst is over now. And the morning sun is shining like a red rubber ball. Like a red rubber ball.
There you go. And now, tonight, after everybody is gone, I get to go look that song up and hear how different it is. How different is it? Very. Okay. You never know. There was like one time in the 2 years that I did that show that I got to the end of the song and people were like, "That was pretty close." All the other times, the other 90, 9 times were like different. So that was what we did for Nobody's Happy Hour for 2 years. It was really a wonderful and fun thing. And there were a couple times a year where I did this show that in Austin I like to, host some shows that are kind of different from your regular show. And most years I would do this one charity show for a local organization called the Sims Foundation that raises money and provides affordable mental health care for Austin musicians and affordable rehab. It's all sliding scales, so obviously there are a lot of addiction issues and mental health problems that the music community faces, just like the rest of society. But musicians tend to be very underinsured or uninsured, and it works with a sister foundation, the HAM, which is Health Alliance for Austin Musicians. And these two organizations in Austin have made health insurance or health care and mental health care accessible and affordable for Austin musicians for many, many years. And so every year, most years, I do a show called Girls Who Do Boys Who Do Girls, based on that old Blur song. And I would get about 10 gals and 10 guys, and everybody just sings one song in the night, and they cover somebody, the songwriter who's about to come next. So like I would sing a James McMurtry song, and then James McMurtry would sing a Rosie Flores song, and then Rosie Flores would sing a John D. Graham song, and just kind of bounce back and forth all night, and all of the money would go to the Sims Foundation. And then I'd do kind of a spin-off of that. I did these shows called Girl Does Girl or Girl Does Boy, and I would invite one other songwriter, and we would just sing each other's songs all night, which is a lot of homework. The first time I did it, I was like, what have I done? Because I scheduled 3 of them in a row, like 3 weeks in a row. I was doing a Girl Does Girl show, and I was doing this show that was like 3 hours long. I was not thinking about it. I was like, oh, I have to learn like 90 minutes of somebody else's songs, and they had to learn 90 minutes of mine. But it was really a lot of fun, and so there were a couple times during the pandemic that I did a show like that, a Girl Does Girl or Girl Does Boy show, or I did a couple shows where it was just all audience request covers all night, which was really fun. And then at the end of the broadcast, I was like dead. But it was, I was so grateful because for 2 years, there were people who not only financially made it possible for musicians to kind of survive the pandemic, but really reaffirmed our sense of purpose. The fact that people were showing up week after week after week on their computer screens, when we all know that's not really a substitute for showing up in person, and that community feeling that you get from gathering in a room and hearing music in a space together. The fact that people were showing up and saying that it was important to them made us feel like we weren't just living this narcissistic dream, that what we did mattered to some people out there. And so I'm very grateful for anyone who tuned into any of the shows over the last couple years and showed your support or sent an encouraging note or even just a comment on Facebook to one of the musicians who was live streaming. I really, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you, because it meant a whole lot to us. I'm going to do this song, and then I think we'll take maybe a little break, and people can stretch their legs and maybe find the facilities or do whatever you need to do. This is a song by my friend Butch Hancock, and it's one of my favorites.
Well, I gave all my money to the banker today. Now I got no more money to spend. Well, the banker smiled when I walked through the door. When I left, he said, come back again. And I watched those lonesome boxcar wheels turn down the tracks out of town. And it's on those lonesome railroad tracks I'm gonna lay my burden down. Well, I looked for my old man at the lost and found, but he'd already been claimed. I'm gonna find me another ticket to ride through a town that ain't never been named. Well, nobody cares where I'm going tonight. Darling, if the truth be told, I'm going down to that railroad track to watch them lonesome boxcars roll. Well, I was raised on a farm the first years of my life, and life, it was pretty good, they say, and I'll probably live to a ripe old age if that dirty dog death will stay out of my way. Well, this world, it can take my money and it can take my time, but it sure can't take my soul. at the Church of Christ, and I'm gonna park my camel by an old haystack. And I'll be searching for that needle all night, where there ain't gonna be no radio tires turning down the streets of gold. So I'm going down to that railroad track. Well, if you've ever heard that whistle on a fast freight train, beating out a beautiful tune, if you've ever seen that cold blue railroad track shining by the light of the moon, and if you've ever felt that locomotive shake the ground, well, I know you don't need to be told why I'm going down to that railroad track. Why I'm going down to that railroad track. Why I'm going down to that railroad track to watch them lonesome boxcars
Thank you. All right, we'll be back in a few minutes.
Yeah, BettySoo live here from the Bertsch Barn tonight. If you're tuning in online, it's a perfect opportunity to head over to BettySoo.com. Check out her music, download a record. You've got a Bandcamp as well, BettySoo, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, you can check her out on Bandcamp too. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll be right back with you. So, yeah. Thanks for being here.
look on YouTube and watch if there was a video for it or whatever. I would listen to the song that I played, that I murdered. And it was really fun to watch the videos because, like, I grew up in a house that didn't have cable, so I've missed, like, all of the essential music videos that I should have known from childhood. Like, I don't know any of them. And so then I'd watch them all. So last night I got to watch Round and Round by Rat, which is pretty. Milton Berle is in that video. It's like crazy. But, and they used a lot of Aquanet, that band. Like, I think there was like a hole in the ozone just above that band. It was like crazy. But sometimes I would go watch the song afterwards and I'd be like, oh, I do recognize that now, or, and sometimes I'd go, oh yeah, that's definitely how that song should have gone. But there were a few songs that I was like, no, that's not how that goes. That's not how that goes. It goes the way that I sing it. Like, I don't remember who did it, but there was one song, do you know the song Indiana Wants Me? So I didn't know that. I did that one during the pandemic, and I cannot hear it the real way. All I hear is the version that I did, but anyway.
Throw out the leftovers you never ate. Go through the bill, see if anything's late. Put an old record on, set the volume to 8. Turn off the lights when the record is through. Watch TV in bed, let it cast you in blue. Leave the curtains open, let the neighbors watch too. When morning comes around, grind up some beans. Pour a cup of water into the machine. Drink it hot at the sink, then rinse your mug clean. Put it right back on the rack. Since you woke up alone 2 years ago, you've had some time to let her go. Yeah, living on your own ain't as hard as before. No one to tell you to shut the cupboard doors. No one to shake you awake when you snore. No one to say that's too big a bore. No one to tell you she's looking for more. No one to stay up pacing the floor. No one to show you what tears are for. No one to pack up empty the drawers. No one to drive off in the night anymore. Roll down the windows, let the traffic noise in. Let the evening air brace your arms, goose skin. Enjoy your cigarette dinner, making you thin again. Pick up a bottle on your way home tonight. Unlock the door, turn on the hall light. Tell yourself everything's just as you like. Since you woke up alone 2 years ago, you've had some time to let her go. Yeah, living on your own ain't as hard as before. No one to tell you to shut the cupboard doors. No one to shake you awake when you snore. No one to say that's too big a bore. No one to tell you she's looking for more. No one to stay up pacing the floor. No one to show you what tears are for. No one to pack up, empty the drawers. No one to drive off in the night anymore. Yeah, pick up a bottle on your way home. Turn on the hall light, tell yourself everything's just as you like.
Thank you. Well, I will say I have a weak spot for some things, like the Carpenters. I'm not saying they're great. I'm just saying that I like them. But I do think Karen Carpenter is one of the most beautiful singers. And I always loved that song Superstar. You guys remember that song, right? But I always thought and I admit I can be kind of an enabling friend sometimes. Like, I probably would have been the friend who told her that it was all just a misunderstanding. Because, well, I mean, if I didn't know that, like, the working title for that song before it came out was The Groupie Song, that kind of tells you it wasn't a misunderstanding. But I think there's room in that song for it being a big misunderstanding. And I used to tell one of my friends, I was like, I just think it was a misunderstanding. I think they just, like, one of them thought they were going to meet before the show, and the other one thought they were meeting after the show, and then they both, like, woke up the next morning feeling brokenhearted. And my friend Michael was like, no, he was never coming back for her. And I was like, no, he was. They just miscommunicated, and now they're both very sad about it. And he didn't believe me, so I decided that last year I decided that I would write the song from the other side of the story. Yeah, so in my version of the story, the Karen Carpenter person thinks that, so he finally does come back to town, and she thinks they're supposed to meet up for a drink before the show, you know. And so she goes to the place, and he's not there, and she's waiting and waiting, and he never shows up. So she goes to the show, and she's watching it. She gets about halfway through the show, and it's just too hard. So she gets up and leaves. And he sees her leaving from the stage, and he's like, why is she leaving? We're supposed to get a drink after. And he's like, well, maybe she's just, like, getting ready or something, you know. Maybe she's waiting out there after the show, and then this is his side.
Beneath the bright hot lights, before the eyes of strangers, beneath the weight of this night, beyond the nerves that waver, well, I saw a shadow at the door. It was just a silhouette. Somehow I knew it was you before the lights came up, and I could see you'd left. Under a moon that shivers, under a sky that won't descend, swept by memory's river to a love I thought would never end. used to wait out in your car, your smoke giving you away. Crossing that ocean of asphalt, I'd rehearse what to say. But now I'm looking out at nothing but a city gone to sleep. Are you miles long gone or hiding just out of sight with the secrets you keep? No return to forever, it's just a wide mile of blue. You made me promise we would never, but I still love you. And I could call your number and you could let it ring. And when it got to the message, you could hear me sing. Under a moon that shivers, under a sky that won't descend, swept by memories, river to a love I thought would never end. No return to forever, it's just a wide mile of blue. You made me promise we would never, but I still love you. Still love you.
Thank you. See, deep down, I'm just a softie. I have a friend who's a couple years older than my mom, and about a year ago, she was her mom went into hospice care, and she was having to say goodbye to her mother, and I remember talking on the phone with her. She's also Korean American, and she was telling me that watching her mother enter that last chapter was hard in ways that she didn't expect. Obviously she was very sad to say goodbye to her mother, but she said it was the strangest thing because I felt so lucky that I had my mom for so much of my life. And my friend she's about to turn 80 now. And she goes, I know I had my mom much longer than most people do. She said, but it was also hard because I realized that there were a lot of things I was waiting to do after my folks left. She was married to the same person. She is still married to the same person that she was as a very young person, and she's never been happy in her marriage. And she always thought, when my parents go, then I can get divorced. And then it, now that never became a possibility for her. And she said, I've realized that I have made all these decisions in my life, or didn't make certain decisions, trying not to disappoint and hurt my mother. And it was something I really identify with, because I think even though I joke about, doing this instead of some other professional path, and how hard that was for my parents, there's still, even in this career, a lot of decisions that I make based upon trying not to disappoint or hurt my parents. And I don't know what to do with that. I think I can see the sadness of my friend, and still feel kind of incapable of making a different decision, even though I did get a divorce, I'll say that, but there are a lot of decisions that I shy away from because I'm too concerned with how it would affect them and their feelings about how they raised me or their feelings as a parent. And so anyway, when my friend's mother did pass, I wrote this song for her, for my friend, and a little bit for myself, but I don't really know how to take my own advice yet. So anyway, it's called Land of the Living.
Sing her one last song, graveside, quiet as a prayer. The whispering people don't mean any harm, but you feel the weight of every eye there. Let loose your handful of dirt and a daffodil bright as morning's bird. Hard to describe how the memories hurt. Send them down with her deep into the earth. And find your way. Find your way back. Find your way back to the land of the living. The land of the living. With no one's plans to let down now but your own. No mother's dreams to borrow. Late to start over, but there's miles of road ahead, so where will you go? Find your way. Find your way back. Find your way back to the land of the living. The land of the living. As if you ever knew what it'd be like to belong to just you. As if you ever knew the land of the living. The land of the living.
Well, I've got a couple of really close friends. One of the things we're really lucky to have in Austin is this music community. And whenever I think about moving away from Austin for various reasons, the thing that keeps me there is this community of friends that we have there, and we really are kind of like a big family. And a couple of my very best friends are great songwriters. Jamie Harris and Bonnie Whitmore are two of my favorite people on earth, and if you aren't familiar with their music, you should really check them out because they're both incredible artists and writers and people. And this is a song that the two of them wrote together, and I just loved it so much that I started singing it. My guitar cannot get used to this weather.
When we first met, it was sickly sweet. Well, I looked at you and you looked through me. No secret I could hide or keep. No, we both knew we were in too deep. Well, you light that match just to feel that spark. And it's a beautiful thing to watch it fall apart. Well, it burns, it fades, and you're left in the dark. And all that's left is a broken heart. Are you okay, honey? Or are you looking for the exit sign? Are you coming with me? No, whatever you decide, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. Well, is it worth the wait? Should it be forgotten? 'Cause it's not the first time that I've fallen. When you're tattered and bruised, looking up from the bottom, do you hold him close just because you got him? Are you okay, honey? Or are you looking for the exit sign? Are you coming with me? No, whatever you decide, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. Would I rather be lonely and change my mind 1,000 times if you could just hold me? Maybe that'd be alright. Is that okay, honey? Or are you looking for the exit sign? Are you coming with me? No, whatever you
Thank you. Bonnie always likes to say, and I didn't say I'm fine, I said I will be fine. And I'm like, okay. Because people sometimes come up to her and they're like, see, you're okay, you're fine. And she's like, no, the song says I will be fine. And maintains her serious look. It's very scary. Well, thank you guys for coming out on a cold night and gathering in this awesome barn. Scott, I gotta ask, when you and your wife moved to this spot, did you look at this barn when you were thinking about buying the place and you were like, or you knew, did you have a vision for what this was gonna be?
Sort of alluded itself to maybe being a studio-esque place. I certainly thought it'd be, like a small stage in the corner would be fun to have cookouts and stuff and friends over and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't have a vision like this.
Well, it's pretty cool. I could see this really growing into a thing, I mean, it's already a thing, but I could see it, developing and growing over time because it's a pretty special place. Oh man, thanks for having me. Well, I do mostly songs where the couple that's together at the beginning of the song is not together at the end of the song. Or if they are, they're not necessarily happy. But I've got a few exceptions. Namely this one. So if you've been waiting all night to snuggle with somebody, this is your chance. If you thought you were like, I want to give this person a really meaningful look, and every song you're like, not doing it during this one. Here's your 4-minute opportunity. You lifted my chin and brushed the hair from my face, and your hand felt warm when it slipped around my waist. I've never been good at learning my place, but all my thoughts escaped when you whispered my name. When you whisper my name, you breathe me in. When you hold me close, all the trouble I've seen disappears into the night. And I know the tighter I hold on to you, the more everything will become right. When you whisper my name, stars seem to shine brighter when you're near. You see when I'm sad before I shed a tear. Never felt so at home in my skin till you got here. And when I feel you speak, you erase my fear. When you whisper my name, you breathe me in. When you hold me close, all the trouble I've seen disappears into the night. And I know the tighter I hold on to you, the more everything will be
I knew what love was long before I met you. I lived plenty of years with a heart broken into. When you whisper my name, when you breathe me in, when you hold me close, all the trouble I've seen disappears into the night. And I know the tighter I hold on to you, the more everything will become bright. When you whisper my name, well, I spent my savings on a beat-up old guitar. I spent my thoughts in bottles of wine, and I spent that summer writing your name next to mine. And I spent whole nights emptying out boxes. And I spent whole days lying in bed. And I spent months singing our song after you left. Isn't it amazing what we'll do in the name of love? Isn't it amazing what we'll give without ever having any possession of? Isn't it amazing how we'll let ourselves get torn apart? Amazing, we still find sweet the sound of love. You sang me calm when I was shaken. You sang my heart out of my chest. And you sang my breath to me, using words you never meant. And I wished you back despite your late night rage. And I wished you back even with my fear. And I wished you back because alone I disappeared. Isn't it amazing what we'll do in the name of love? Isn't it Well, I didn't know how far, I didn't know how far away, I didn't know how far away you'd take me, but now I see. And isn't it amazing what we'll do in the name of love? Isn't it amazing that we'll give what we never had any possession of? Isn't it amazing how we let ourselves get torn apart? Amazing, we still find sweet the sound of love.
Thank you.
Empties lined up on the living room floor. Hasn't made it to her bed for 13 nights. On the ground with a glass in her hand, legs up on the couch. She's got no more will left to fight. She's gonna cross that line. The world unwind. It's not so hard to see what she wants is just a little bit out of reach across the borderline. She has a dream of running into the ocean, curling away under the tide. She float in a bottle, a message lost in time till she washes up on the other side. She's gonna cross that line. Watch your world unwind. It's not so hard to see what she wants is just a little bit out of reach across the borderline. Put on a happy face for your mother, and wear a brave one for your dad, and pin on a smile for the ones who care for you the most. Round here, if you love them, you don't let them know you're sad. She's gonna cross that line. Watch your world unwind. It's not so hard to see what she wants is just a little bit out of reach across the borderline.
Thank you so much. I think I'm just going to do 2 more songs and call it a night. Thanks for staying up on a Monday. What time is it? Woo! By the time we got to Richmond, you knew I was somewhere else. My mind was reeling down a different road, and you could see through what I felt. By the time we pulled into Charlotte and threw our bags on the bed, you hadn't said a word in hours, and I had torn my nails to shreds. And it's dark with the blackouts drawn tight. We can't tell from here if it's 10 in the morning or the middle of the night. We're gonna lie here together like nothing's wrong. That window unit moaning its own sad song, and it's dark, baby, it's so dark with the blackouts drawn. By the way, you veered into that lot and dragged so hard the ashes raced to your lips. Well, I knew you had so much to say, you just couldn't find the words to do your anger justice. By the way, I know I haven't said enough that I believe in who you are. No, and now it's too late. It just fall empty like the bottles in the back seat of your car. And it's dark with the blackouts drawn tight. We can't tell from here if it's 10 in the morning or the middle of the night. We're gonna lie here together like nothing's wrong. That window unit moaning its own sad song, and it's dark, baby, it's so dark with the blackouts drawn. Yeah, we'll just lie here together like nothing's wrong. That old window unit moaning its own sad song, and it's dark, baby, it's so dark with the blackouts drawn. Thank you very much. Well, thanks for having me here at the Bertsch Barn and for your so great to meet your lovely family and to just be in this beautiful part of Wisconsin. I don't think I've ever been this far north in Wisconsin before. And it was so beautiful seeing all the fall color on the way up. And this past week, being in this part of the country, it's like I got to work and be a leaf peeper at the same time. It was really nice. And just appreciate you guys, again, coming out on a Monday night. It's really so great to see you guys and to be around people in 3D again. I'm going to do this last song and hope everybody gets home safe.
When the sun still beating down September, can't touch your toes to that pavement in the afternoon. You're swinging out front, wondering whether the sins of the summer gonna come catch up with you soon. You never knew no dirt didn't come off in the kitchen, never knew no stain like the one you're hiding now, never knew no man like the one you've been missing, never knew no love could break love's vow. Fan my face, that moving just makes me hotter. Try to sit still as that creek down by the way, but that traffic, it ain't seen no fresh water. It's spent the last few months drying out without the rain. I never knew no dirt didn't come off in the kitchen, never knew no stain like the one I'm hiding now, never knew no man like the one I've been missing, never knew no love could break love's vow. Well, I can't go back to the water's edge. Can't go back to his arms. Can't go deep beneath that glass surface. Can't dry off in that summer sun. I never knew no dirt didn't come off. I never knew no stain. I never knew no dirt didn't come off in the kitchen, never knew no stain. I never knew no man like the one I've been missing, never knew no love could break love's vow.
Thank you very much. Thanks so much. Hope everybody has a good night.
Oh, BettySoo, live from the Bertsch Barn. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much, BettySoo, for sharing your music and your artistry with us. Such a beautiful voice and such great tunes tonight. Y'all be sure to check out BettySoo.com and get some music for yourself out there. And be safe, be well. We'll catch you on the next session.